rich. Whether or not it's something or somebody trying to test you to convince your mind to think different.
I finna do all my clothes, do all my smiles, take all my days to work against me. You entertain, I live you on this for the way, but long as I got love, long as I got fame, long as I got God and a strong mindset. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I was made to move.
Now walk it out. 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 Now walk it out.
DJ Montana Trap.
Walk it out.
DJ
Southside walk it out.
We at it again, baby.
Northside walk it out. Now hit the dance floor. Hey, bend your back low. She do it with no hands. Now stop, pop and roll. I'm smoking bubble. Yeah, they in trouble. I like the way she move. Undercover. Now everybody leaning. I make the crowd rock. Now go and walk it out. I see they on my job. She want that bubble gum. Is they the double mint? Two shooting me, so I know that I'ma win. It's on once again. Patron once again. I threw my head back, then I froze like the wind. Westside walk it out. Southside walk it out. Eastside walk it out. Northside walk it out. I said do it how you do it. Go and walk it out.
Hit that pose, take that flick, check your angle, post that. Hit that pose, take that flick, check your angle, post that. Speed, 5, 4, fum. Grab your lens, cause here she comes. Frame by frame, glossy lips. Must I remind you I'm that elongated, sophisticated, cover girl. We made it, every feature soft to the touch. I make all your boyfriends blush, then I let them have it as I sit in custom fabric. They say you are what you eat, so I wear carrots and make cabbage. Andrew Dunn Sumo, make me pretty in my Miu Miu. Now serving, come and grab it. Tangy Banji, just like Nunu. Hit that pose, take that flick, check your angle, post that. Hit that pose, take that flick, check your angle, post that. It's a woman like me. Dirty girl, when you see me, and what you fit do? Bow down, big chin, I need every two. Respect. All them going like wanna pave way. Queen, yeah. London, wait with the same way. Come here, boy. Bow cat, oh, true you rich. Where your wallet? Yeah, you have it, here we it. Cartel, Beanie Man, Bounty Killer too. Roll the weed, bust a Dutch, all Rizzler too. Rock it out, flip, land on your head, girl. Brooklyn, when we shoot, net girl, Trinidad. I know James, me a chat boat. Pussy walk, girl a bit about where that goes.
Go babe, go babe, go babe. My friend got 40-inch hair, blood is stare, touching her derriere. You want this hair? My is back, my is flat. He love when I clap for him. Moving my in these platforms. I'm not the one you wanna never. Yeah, I like to shake it. He lucky if he see me naked. I look good in these jeans when I walk by. Make him do a double take with his mouth wide. Bitch, I'm lit like a blunt, you can't get high. And my trunk in the front ain't no spare tire.
I'm with too bad, they got on. That might let the way she clap on. Shake, and I might throw the racks on. If I out of state, then she gon' trap for him. It ain't Thursday, but she gon' throw it back on. That might let the way she clap on. That might let the way she clap on. That might let the way she clap on.
Yeah, you dealing with some wet and gushes. Beat it up, baby, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this cookie right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a giggle, I'm kinda wild. Look at my mouth, look at my thighs. Sweat is wet, come take a dive. Tie me up, like I'm surprised. That's role play, I wear disguise. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage. Make me dream, make it stream. Out in public, make the scene.
I done cook, I I don't clean, but let me tell you, I got this ring.
Gobble me, swallow me, drip down inside of me. Quick jump out for you, let it get inside of me. I tell them where to put it, never tell them where I'm about to be. I'll run down on them before I have a night. Running me, talk your style, bite your zip. Ask for a call while you ride that like you really ain't never got him for a thing. He already made his mind up before he came. Now get your boots, hang your coat, but this wet and gushy. He bought a phone just for pictures of this wet and gushy. Pay my tuition just to kiss me on this wet and gushy. Now make it rain if you wanna see some wet and gushy.
There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
My goodies, my goodies, my goodies, not my goodies.
I got a sick reputation for handling brawls. All I need is me a few seconds or more, then it's a rap. Tell the lady bring my lap, and they ain't coming back, so you can put a car right there. I'm the truth, and they ain't got nothing to prove. And you can ask anybody, cause they seen me do it. Barricades, I run right through them, I'm used to them. Throw all the dirt you want.
Views. Alright. Old ways, new women, gotta keep a balance. The girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge. I've been counted out so many times I couldn't count it. Funny how now my accountant is having trouble trying to count it. OVO, East End, reps up, we might just get hit with the. Alright.
Woke up, the price of woke up. I just hit them with the low cut, then call my folks up. Somebody about to get poked up, go call a tow truck. All that talking out your neck might just get your throat cut. This a Mack truck, not a black truck. When we move, tell them back up. Click, click, clack, duck. Hella bands, pull up, stashed up. Super facts up, or you Rosa Parks. Uh-oh, get your errands up. Yikes.
And I stop at air mirror just to stare at my own posterior. I don't give a who talk behind my back. The knew better than to let me hear.
Hands on my knees, shaking on my thigh shot. Hands on my knees, shaking on my thigh shot. Hands on my knees, shaking on my thigh shot. Hands on my knees, hands on my knees.
Bring that ass back like a boom, 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 boom.
Icy as a blizzard. Big Gucci, that's my alias. My jewelry make it shiver. I eat for dinner. I am no pretender. Whatever I pull out the driveway, it is not a runner. It's marvelous. On top of this, no stopping this. I'm dropping this, topping it. That sloppy top, she popping it. It's obvious. All in her esophagus. I'm so f***ing cocky rich. Pulling for that cocky shit. My boom movement, hockey stick. Bring that ass back like a boom, 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 boom. Bring that ass back like a boom, boom, boom. Bring that ass back like a boom, 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 boom. Bring that ass back like a boom, boom, boom.
Bring that ass back like a boom, 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 boom.
Money in my head, pockets hella empty. Mama making ends meet, working like a slave. Mississippi, yeah. Daddy ain't at home, no. Father, gotta be a man. Michael Corleone, do it for my homegrown sisters, brothers, do it for the fam. Yeah, still I'm loving. Hey, just for you. My 2 times 2 always equates to 1 dream as a selfish. When it all comes down to it, I hope one day you come back to remind me of who I was when I go disappear into that good night. Taking it all for us, doing it all for love. Yeah, 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 yeah. Doing it all for love. I'm doing it all. I'm doing it all.
Speed. Slate.
GDC interview, scene, Robbie, take 1.
Hit it.
How does dance make me feel? I feel free. Like, I feel like I can be myself. If I can't express it in a way where words can, I can do it through dance.
It's kind of indescribable for me. I just always feel drawn and pulled towards it.
It really helps me get into my emotions and go through it.
It makes me feel different in a way that I can be a different person.
I live like my normal life, like some sort of like Hannah Montana type of stuff.
Dance itself, it's so unique that we could use it to connect with our friends and family.
Everyone has those sides that they don't get to showcase unless they're able to, and dance does that for me.
It's not like the thing, you know, growing up in a Filipino household, like it's something that my mom didn't didn't want, you know, because it didn't pay the bills, I guess. So
I started from the streets. I didn't join any studio. I didn't grow up as a rich kid, but I'm proud to be a street dancer.
Of course, as everyone says, we all start somewhere with anything we do. And for me, with dancing, I started somewhere, and that somewhere was just like not being the best dancer.
Sometimes when I don't feel like I'm good at it, I get kind of down myself, but I have to, you know, realize that it's a learning process.
People either put me as, oh, he is the person who thinks he can dance, or, oh, he's that big guy who thinks he can dance. And I wanted to prove to people that size was not going to be an issue.
Even though so many people had different things to say negatively or out of context, like I didn't care because I was just such in my element. I was just like so gravitated towards this thing that I love to do, you know, and like.
If I work hard, if not having to work harder, I can do it just as good as anybody else.
To all of the other dancers, whether it could be like, you know, dealing with other people or just like finding who you are as a dancer, I would say, to just really reflect why you move, what you move for, and just to also not take it too seriously.
Don't be shy, don't be nervous, because you're all there for the same reason. You love this one thing.
It's better to live your life trying to reach that goal than to do what's comfortable and what other people want you to do.
I would love for people to be able to use dance in whatever way it calls to them, to be able to be the best version of themselves, come to a full acceptance of who you are, to love who you are, to embrace who you are, and to just use this platform as a celebration for yourself.
To the candy shop, I like to lick the lollipop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep on till you stop. Whoa.
Ladies, wow. I like to get to know ya so I can show ya. Feel a hurting on ya like I told ya. Give me all your numbers so I can phone ya. See my hips, big hips, so try. See my butts and my lips don't try. Lost a few pounds in my waist, oh yeah. It's the kind of beat that go ra-ta-ta.
You know, Nikki, you're the cookies. I'm no fucking you. Sexy, independent, I ain't ready, so you already know.
Show me what you got, 'cause I don't want no one. Break me off, show me what you got, 'cause I don't want no.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
My name is so and so.
Can you tell me cause
You look like you came to do one thing. Said it all started on the left, then I had to take goodbye. You was out of breath, but all night.
Girl, what did that girl just say, girl?
I couldn't tell you what was said.
I don't dance, I work.
Say girl, strutting long hair, long nails, and my hips done spread. Woo girl, I've been working all night, but I ain't break no sweat. And I pop like a bottle, and I walk like a model every time that I post. Another $1 million in your CC, come and step back, you should let her in. Want my skin, give it cinnamon, melanin.
That's all.
All right, children, the ball is about to begin. Come get your life.
I get up out of bed, I put on my clothes, 'cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, but I don't need no help. I've got a strong will to survive. I've got a deeper love, a deeper love, a deeper love inside, and I call it deep love, a deep love, a deep love. Oh, it's the power that gives you the strength to survive.
Children, are you ready? It's time for the ball. Category is Elements of Vogue.
Deep love. People, let me tell you, I work hard every day. I get up out of bed, I put on the clothes, 'cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, but I don't need no help. I got a strong will to survive. I've got a deeper love, deeper love, deeper love inside. I call it pride, pride, deep love, a deep love. Oh, it's the power that gives you the strength to survive.
Category is Whacking. Bring the beat. It's time for the runway. Bring that face, that body, that garment, and serve. Yes, they came to play today. Okay, business chic. Ooh, pretty in pink. Where is Carmen Sandiego? Serving sexy Twizzler realness. Where my Butch Kings at? There's the mother. That's the daughter of a shiny gold dancer. Category is Femme Funk Performance.
So let me tell you, I work hard every day. I get up out of bed, I put on the clothes, 'cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, but I don't need no help. I've got a strong will to survive. I've got a deeper love, a deeper love, a deeper love inside. I call it a deep love, a deep love, a deep love. Oh, it's the power that gives you the strength to survive.
Introducing the legendary Ran Diosa.
For helping me see there's a power that lives deep inside of me, giving the strength to carry on. Always be strong. Keep on, let me tell you, I work hard every day. I get up out of bed, put on my clothes, 'cause I got bills to pay. And it ain't easy, it ain't easy, it ain't easy, it ain't easy, it ain't easy. A deeper love, a deeper love, a deeper love. The strength to survive.
Wrap it up, folks. It's time to go home.
A deeper love, a deeper love, a deeper love. The strength to survive.
And remember, children, love one another because life is a celebration.
Augusto, mano, tá vendo essas ideias, mano, tá vendo? Sempre tem aquele amigo que mente, né, mano? Aquele amigo que é abusado. Não, né, não.
Abusada, mente.
Abusada, mente.
Mas só que a profissão das minas é...
Abusadamente ela vai batendo, bum, bum. Ela vai sentando, bum, bum. Ela vai quicando, bum, 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 bum. Ela vai batendo, bum, bum. Ela vai quicando, bum, bum. Ela vai sentando, bum, bum, bum.
Abusada.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
Olha, faz assim, tá bom? Vamos te ensinar tudo direitinho, assim, ó. Digidão, 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 vai. Vamos lá, vai, vai.
Y ahí, mueve esa nalga solo pa' mí. Una vaina crazy, soy así. Déjame aprender, baby, teach me. Y sigue ahí.
Vem, vai.
I need you to focus, watch me throw it back. So much body, you want it so bad. If I let you taste, just know this ain't no race. With the stamina, you better show that.
Rebola, 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 rebola,
Bola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola.
rebola, 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 bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola.
Bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola.
Bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola.
Bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola, rebola, rebola, bola.
She no want no little boy, she want a fat cock. Fi drop inna the pussy, make she dance hopscotch. So me hold up on the shoulder like say me a backpack. Pussy wetter than a river when me done with that. To how me a go and neighbors call the cops back. Shot a fire rapid like a AK shot. These I me name, but she run out of gas. Me a sink it deep all when tire flat.
She want real big man thing, big body. She want real big man thing, big body. She want real big man thing, something to make she start sing. She ball out. She want real big man thing, big body. She want real big man thing, big body. She want real big man thing.
Dom. Wait, can I cuss?
Dom was the most driven, creative, ecstatic, and just life-loving person I'd ever known.
Dom is a hard ass. That's all I gotta say. But hard ass meaning how he takes his craft so seriously in a strict way with good intention.
I think he wanted to be the best at everything he did. He was very competitive. When he was dancing and also when he was teaching, he wanted to bring that out in all the kids that he worked with.
You could tell how hard he pushed them, and it showed, you know, and he didn't accept any less because he knew that people could go there. They just needed that push.
Him coming from a dance studio like Skip, but still gravitating towards the community, just shows how much he cares and also advocates for community purpose.
Dance was very exclusive. Every studio was with their studio, and that was it. Even at workshops, here's dance jazz, here's fusion, here's Skip, and we'd stick together and and we didn't really mesh until Dom came along. Dom was the first person to collaborate with individuals in different studios and film together and reach out to creatives to get together and really pursue their passion and share it with the world. And that was his true and utter passion.
I was intimidated by him at first because he's such a really fierce energy to be around. And, you know, he was one of the people I really, aspired to be.
When I first met him, he told me how he really wanted to train me. And I'm like, me? I'm just a random guy that wants to dance, but looking back now, I'm just like, he like kind of saw potential in me. And that's something I don't take for granted at all.
He helped people find themselves.
He showed a lot of vulnerability, and at the time, when you're coming into dance, you just think you have to be like on a 10 or 100 all the time, and he proved that, like everyone is still human. There are human experiences behind this, that everything that he had worked for, like it came with just as much sacrifice as anybody else did.
There were times he would put on this, I'm really
Facade.
this tough guy, nobody.
I'm really good at
Yep,
what I do,
yep.
I look great, like I'm very confident.
Yep.
But he always wanted more.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure that he was able to get the best out of you, and he was able to know that he was able to do that for you. And I think that made him feel really proud, of his work.
I don't know if he really realized how awesome he was. I don't think he knew how smart, how brilliant, how talented, how kind, how all these words that we're talking about, I don't think he knew that. Even though all the successes he went through, it still didn't get to him that he was so awesome and that we need him.
Dom, if I could say anything to you, I hope I'm making you proud. I really feel like you're the most influential person I have towards me with dance. And I hope all that hard work is being put somewhere.
His impact is still here, and it lives on, especially through those who he taught so close with. Through them, they share that with everyone else now.
He went his own path. He did it his way. He didn't do it the traditional way. He did it Dom's way.
While I'm here, I just wanted to say that I love you and you mean so much to me. And yeah, pretty much that's all.
Touch my body, me like the way that you kiss my, me like it. Me like the way that he put it on me. Me like the way that he push up on me. Me like the way that he go down, 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 down. Never gonna let no girl take him from me. Never gonna let no girl steal him from me. Never gonna let a girl get that close now. I tell him, baby, you're too close now. Come here, baby, hey, be my baby, hey, be my baby. Oh, oh, oh. Come here, baby, put your hands on my body, hands on my body. Oh, oh, oh. Right there, keep it right there. I love it when you put it right there. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah.
Girl, I got you so high, and I know you like. So come and push it on me, if it feels alright. Wanna drop it low and bring me up. No, she doesn't mind. She doesn't mind. She doesn't mind. Girl, I got you so. Push it back on it, bring it back on it. Give me the thing, become a waffle lock on it. Wine it, wiggle it, set the track on it. 2 more shots, now we in a hot panic. 2 girl and I'm ready for jump on it. 2 to my word, I'm ready for thump on it. Ready for run on it, ready for dunk on it. Tag team in fire truck, we pump on it. Hands up high, we burning up the sky. We got the dance all crazy, got the club on fire. I like the way you dance, you got me in a trance. My baby, she don't mind at all. Girl, I got you so high, and I know you like. So come on, push it on me, if it feels alright. Wanna drop it low and bring me up. No, she doesn't mind.
what you're doing. You can play brand new to all the other chicks out here, but I know what you are, baby. Look at you, getting more than just a re-up. Baby, you got all the puppets with the strings up, making like a good one, but I call them like I see them. I know what you are, baby. You're crazy, you're nothing but a womanizer. I got you crazy, I got you crazy. Womanizer. You say I'm crazy, I got you crazy. You're nothing but a womanizer. Womanizer, womanizer, you're a womanizer. Oh, you're a womanizer, baby.
How has this past year affected you personally?
Okay, okay, how has the pandemic affected me the past year?
I think the first few weeks I was like, okay, I get a little break, you know, this is all gonna be over soon. And then the first few months passed and I realized I was like, wow, this is really different.
As a director, it was difficult seeing the Familia not being able to practice, just being able to motivate them and make them come back. You know, it was so tough.
With dance being such a physical activity that involves like people physically being together, that couldn't really happen because of like COVID regulations and not a lot of people being in the same room or area, you know?
It definitely hurts to realize that we couldn't do anything that period of time in that moment.
You know, there were so many people that were so used to expressing themselves. There were so many people I knew, dancers especially, that had no outlet. Dance was the one thing that they looked forward to, whether it was something for them to get away from their personal problems, or again, coming back to that self-expression. It hit people really, really hard.
They didn't know what to do. It was so hard, like some of their stories were really sad. Just not being able to dance anymore and being able to be around their peers. It was hard for them.
And of course, people did what they could through TikTok or online classes, but it definitely wasn't the same, because being around the energy of people who love what you do and you know, you feeling the same way, it's something you can't replace that.
You know, we tried our best to definitely connect and still dance, because, you know, we want to keep pushing no matter what, with, you know, keep pushing with what we have, and just to show everyone that, you know, we're still here and we could do anything and we could use anything to be productive, but also still feel connected.
Can't say we're not 100% there, but we have made some progress to, you know, still do what we love to do to the best that we can.
Was crying all night, I slept until noon. I just wanna lie, my living room.
can feel a storm coming, I can sense the air change, 'cause the skies are turning as the world's burning grey. The wind's breathing heavy, the dark clouds are closing in, so I run to the open, 'cause the rain is my friend. I can feel the sky falling and I know what to do. It's like hands all upon me as the heavens fire blue. It's time for a cleansing, it's time for a change. So I'll stay where I'm standing, let the rain fall again.
Sometimes you're better off alone.
Unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency.
COVID-19 will continue to spread.
Long lines and bare shelves.
Effects of the coronavirus may last much longer than originally.
Grows 33% per day. It's exponential growth.
Americans are being asked to take safety precautions to flatten the curve.
Is reaching a tipping point.
Economic trajectory in many more families are going to lose loved ones before their time.
You're better off alone. The only way to stay safe is to keep your distance.
Day in, day out, I hear them whispering now. Are you still trying to get out? I don't need a minute, don't need an hour. I don't need more time, I need you now.
Remember those walls I built? Well, baby, they're tumbling down. And they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound. I found a way to let you in, but I never really had a doubt. Standing in the light of your halo, I got my angel now. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had you breaking. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace.
We're all made to move.
But moving isn't always as easy.
Especially if it's away from home.
Not many have the courage to step out of their comfort zone.
But you took those first steps.
You moved forward to new beginnings.
And you even freestyled your way to new challenges.
You weren't always on point,
but with each step,
you found your groove and you found your flow.
And even if you lost your mark,
you always kept going until you got back into place.
Because that's who you are. You're a dancer.
You're our dancer.
And no matter where you are in the world, we'll always be cheering for you.
Because when you dance,
you're exactly right where you need to be. Home.
GDC is
a group that offers many dancers a home.
I wanted to make a team unique, different, but also have that understanding of what family means.
It's a very family-based group.
GDC started to become a home for anyone and everyone who maybe felt like they didn't necessarily belong.
Before it came about, I had to sit down and think to myself, the responsibility, the sacrifice, do I really want to do this? I could just be doing something else, you know, like I probably could have been off island with my family. But then I realized that there's more that Guam has to offer. And that's why I had to push myself to realize that I knew it was time to make GDC, Guam Dance Community.
Dance is different for everybody.
When you become a GDC familia, we will treat you as a family member. You know, we just want you to just be able to be yourself.
It's something really beautiful because I think first and foremost, GDC is all about acceptance. In the beginning, GDC was that place for people to still go and dance and express themselves, and that they can still pursue this and this can still be something for them.
They don't have to feel as if they have to be a certain way.
This is a place for you to grow, and that's to me what GDC is.
Bad girl, no, me no partial. Introduce this to you as the best genital. Unique, when the fuck I ain't not normal. Put it on your boy, test your potential. Back it up and just push it like a trolley, shape like Barbie Dolly. Big dick, me jolly. Some gal a lick the lolly and a stopping at the alley, but no boy can't play me like a man a pallet. Couple jolly ranchers watch me do my thing. Hood niggas in a bandana wanna be my king. Mad them na the club of me too if I swing. This will drive you crazy. I'm no one night fling. Give it to you once, I know you gonna reminisce. Tell me if you like this, go ahead, give it a kiss. Body perfect, it's on top of the A-list. Spice Bungee, ASAP Ferg, rock to this.
Couple jolly ranchers, put nigga in a bandana. Couple jolly ranchers, put nigga in a bandana. Couple jolly ranchers, put nigga in a bandana. Couple jolly ranchers, put nigga in a bandana.
I gotta close the window before I record, cause New York don't know how to be quiet. Put in work, work, put in work, work, put in work. Coochie down to the socks like I'm Biggie Papa. Baby, keep your girl head in my Tommy boxes. But when it out, she a silly hoe, cause she know the Frankenstein get plenty dough. She don't get nothing from my nigga though. All she get is hard dick and some Cheerios. No tint out on my window, so you see a nigga shining in the Benzo. Holy, girl, you twerk that kitty, girl, make it happen.
Boys to the God, 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 boys to the God.
Pop that, pop that.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the God, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge. My milkshake brings all the boys to the God, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could
Another one. We the best music. DJ Khaled.
I don't know if you could take it. No, you wanna see me naked, naked, naked. I wanna be a baby, baby, baby. Spinning in his red just like he came from Maytag. Rocket with it on the brown liquor. When I get like this, I can't be around you. I'm too little to dim down a notch, 'cause I can into things that I'm gon' do. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 thoughts. Wow, wow, wow. When I'm with you, all I get is wild thoughts.
DJ Khaled. Come on, let it go. Come on, give it to me. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Hey, I can be the answer. I'm ready to dance when the vamp up. And when I hit that dip, get your camera. You can see even that big tits and pamper. Is it worth it? Let me work it. I pull my thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's your primitive, it's my anthem. It's your primitive, it's my anthem.
Don't ladies pop your none like unless you got
shake your body, don't
buns,
stop, don't miss. Just do it now, lick it good. Suck this, it's like you should.
What you gonna do when I ain't around? When I ain't prepared?
My neck, my back, lick my and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack.
What? Yeah! Listen!
Shake a hole like a mole. From the right through, coming down the road. Drive on through, run it up on fire. Cat like a pussy, you want it, devour. Right on the horse, giddy up, get gay. He got a body like Beyonce. Oh, what you say? This is my day. Show you how to be pussy today. Yeah! Pussy cat, cat, one. Pussy cat, cat, oh! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, one. Oh! Give it to me, give it to me, give it one. Oh!
Even if it makes me blind, I just wanna see the light. Breathe in, leave it all behind. I just wanna see the light. Turn up the lights in here, baby. Extra bright, I want y'all to see this. Turn up the lights in here, baby. You know what I need. Want you to see everything. Want you to see everything.
All of the lights.
It's so hard when people knock you down and tell you that you're never gonna get a shot at glory. But that's when you rise to the challenge, 'cause it's your time, your moment, and nothing can stop us now. Yeah. PTX. Get it what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get a better instead of getting on the internet and checking out to hit me get up. Fish shop, wow. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby. Swear the game, nope, yeah, can't copy ya. Babe, we're rocking, this here's our party.
My posse's in on Broadway, and we do it all way.
Music, I shed my skin, put my bones into
everything I record. Yep, I'm on.
Yeah. She got a weed, pull it back to her arch in the back. Hope the digital dash don't crash. Yeah, I got a teeth full of stacks and a ring full of racks, and I flex with the Rico and mash. Yeah, and my team full of Mac and a beam go dash right through your back. Yeah, you get sipping on ag. Yeah, you need to relax. Yeah, weed, pull it back to her arch in the back. Hope the digital dash don't crash. Yeah, I got a teeth full of stacks and a ring full of racks, and I flex with the Rico and mash. Yeah, and my team full of Mac and a beam go dash right through your back. Yeah, you get sipping on ag. Yeah, you need to relax. Yeah. Main de la coupe, top of the roof, Bugatti, don't play no with it. Damn, just kicking it, spinning it, sipping it. That's right, feeling it, feeling it, killing it, winning it. I'm pinning it, flipping it, spinning it, sipping it. All right, feeling it, bringing it, you go, killing it, winning it. I'm pinning it.
Test. Everyone, please take shelter immediately. The twerkulators have already invaded Twerk City and you don't have much time. They've already landed and they're taking over. Run for cover, mother.
JT, I'm fly with it. CITY with it. Right cheek, left cheek with it. Fun size on fleek with it. Slim, thick, petite with it. G-Wag with the key missing. One time for my freak. After hour, no sleep. When I get my freak on, they throwing money like me chon. When I do my dance, money fight, these throwing bands. JC, I ain't playing. Lil' I don't want your man. But these rich throwing paper. Now it's time for the circulate.
It sounds like a motherfucking 6-4, 6 flow, switch up, sitting that Crisco, drop that shit like a controller where the dub show. Then you hit the switch and pick it up and let the world know. Only if you broke, oh, you don't deserve hoes. All these fake ballers only getting on my nerves, though. I just crack the 40 now, sipping out the straw slow. Little bit of ratchet, little bougie, you should all know. Everybody
ready to go, let's go. I keep a bar like Esco. I wanna ball where the nets go. I'm on stage with the stand where the guests go. Bitches is my friends, they don't wanna leave the nest though. They like, oh, where the ref go. I got these hoes scared to pass, I got that intercept flow. No, they on E, but I don't give a F though. Bad attitude, but my is the best though.
This song goes out to all the boys and girls. Get down, Living style getting loose, more punch than your bowl of juice, and ain't nobody more jiggy than us. Us like whoa. Don't stop. We don't. That's gonna make you get up out your seat.
now she tipsy. Can't trust these hoes cause they hippie. I know that your best friend gon' slide now. Party at my house, that's a vibe now. All on these like LeBron now. She spitting off the top, that's a freestyle. I'm about to run it up. I'm about to pull up in that motherfucking Billy truck. Got some bad bitches in it, about to fuck it up. And we think it's over just to sum it up, sum it up. Yeah, I need my commas, look. I ain't playing, man, I put that on my mama and shoot. 24 on the jersey just for mama and shoot. Vince Carter on the beat, I put my arm through the rim. It's your birthday, put your hands in the air, it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck, it's not your birthday. You should be doing that back in the first place. It's breezy, know you heard of me. Yeah, let's play your body, makes me feel away. Just make it shake. I want you to put it all in my face. Make it nasty, baby. Walked in, her friends locked in. Top 10, toxic I am. Yes, ma'am. And if they hating on you, I'ma have to kick them out cause it's your birthday. Put your hands in the air, it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck, it's not your birthday. You should be doing that back in the first place. It's breezy, know you heard of me. Ooh, yeah. Pinky ring, we're about to busy. Two-tone my Lambo, that's drippy. Bottle after bottle, now she tipsy. Can't trust these cause they hippie. Best friend gon' slide now. Party at my house, that's a vibe now. All on these like LeBron now. She's spitting off the top, that's a freestyle.
How I got into dance started when I was around, I would say 11 years old.
I really just liked moving and sports really wasn't my thing.
ABDC is what kind of helped out and kickstarted everything. You know, a lot of people got inspired just by that show, you know, and thanks to them, we're like, you know what, let's just try this out.
There was this one Filipino show, it's called ASAP, I think, and there was a dance group called Street Boys, and they were amazing, so I was really, I don't know, I was so into them, and they were so motivating and inspiring, so.
I was just like so inspired, and I was just like, Mom, Dad, I wanna do that.
There's something really beautiful about the idea of movement and the idea of self-expression. That's so important. That's what drew me in, and after that, I just didn't want to stop.
Goals, honestly, wow. To bring everyone together, you know, that's what GDC is about, bringing the community together.
I told myself one day I'm gonna, you know, teach and work in a community and work on shows and all these things. And it didn't occur to me that I hit that point. And I was like, wow, I actually did do it.
If, let's say, my daughter wants to be a ballerina, I would definitely do anything to make her dream come true to become a ballerina. And if I can do that to others who want to be a dancer, then that's my goal, just to help them become what they want to be.
Why you so like this? Why you so like this? I'm doing it.
at your track. I'm sipping wine in a robe. I look too good to be alone. My house clean, my pool warm. Just shake smooth like a newborn. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing and the west wing of this mansion. What's happening? I ain't playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lay in these arms,
my chest, my breath right quick. He ain't never seen it in a dress like this. He ain't never even been impressed like this. Probably why I got him quiet on a set like zip. Like it, love it, need it, bad. Take it, own it, steal it, fast. Boy, stop playing, grab my ass.
Acting like you shy.
Shut it, save it, keep it, pushing while you beating round the bush and knowing you want all this one.
Never knock it till you try.
Yeah. I let them bitches hate and I have you with me. I love my saying you mad committed. Really than anybody you had them pretty. I let the body out of that ass and titties.
It's been a long time since you.
Probably why I got him quiet on the set like zip. All of them bitches hating, I have you with me. He ain't never seen it in a dress like this. He ain't never even been impressed like this.
If you try, take night, keeping me in the moment. I bet you had a known. Why don't you say so? Day, night, and morning, keeping me in the moment. I bet you had a known. Why don't you say? No punches left to roll. You got to keep me focused. I wanna say so.
Gentlemen, I'd like to present you Future.
Are you ready? I've done it all. I've done it all. I've done it all. I've done it all. Loosen up my buttons, baby, but you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. I'm done it all. Loosen up my buttons, baby. Cause see what I was young, I would say. Get it? When I grow up, I wanna be famous, I wanna be a star, I wanna be in movies. When I grow up, I wanna see the world, drive nice cars, I wanna have for what you wish for I see you staring at me, oh I'm a trendsetter. Yes, this is true, cause what I do, no one can do it better. You can talk about me, cause I'm a hot topic. I see you watching me. I know you're running. I wanna be famous, I wanna be a star, I know you like me. I know you do. Don't you wish your girlfriend was wrong like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was fun like me? Don't you? you mess me up like you're supposed to. You're telling me cool cause I'm just wanting you to react.
Brother, what's up? Hey, what's up, my guy? You ready to go in?
Would it have led you to you?
Give it a minute, but what's the fun in a minute? Oh, cause I'm excited, no more taking it slow. No more taking it slow. It's almost love. Claiming that you ain't doing enough, claiming that they need more. What you want, your last breath, your last sweat, your last dime out of your pocket mind.
Can't you see I'm fucking trying?
Girl, I heard that you been hurting. Just let me know if it ain't working. I could put mad baguettes on you on purpose. We can go half on a baby on purpose. And the Maybach, let's close all of the curtains purposely. Everything you do to me, you do it perfectly. And I be in your body like surgery. I got insomnia.
One pussy 6 times a week, and you never wanna clean up. And you talk to me like shit, and you handle me too rough. And at the end of the day, you got the nerve to bring up that bitch. But that's the difference. And when I feel like this, I can't think I'll stress you out. We gon' stretch you out. You just wanna have fun. You wanna make you come. You gotta smile.
We got London on the track.
One of my hopes for the dance community,
All I hope for is to become one, you know.
where more people can dance together, regardless of where they come from, whether it be community or studio. I would love to be able to have like that real sense of the word community.
With Guam being such a small community, we should be very tight-knit. We should always be there to support each other because
we love dance. That's why. I mean, we shouldn't have to separate each other.
This entire concert prep has been very, it's tiring, I'm not gonna lie. I think especially from going a whole year and a half, almost years of not really doing much to jumping back into a project, I was just like, what did I get myself into?
I was stressed out. I'm stressed out now. But you don't see it because I fixed my hair. So it's fine.
This experience has been exhausting, but it's worth it.
So just kind of like putting this project together and just to see what we've been waiting for after just staying home after like a good year, like I'm really excited.
You get to see people come back and do what they love.
It's something that Romeo, Robbie, and I wanted to give back, especially to others who have been working so hard.
This wouldn't have happened without the team, without the dancers, without Project Inspire, our family, our parents, especially our supportive parents. Shout out to you guys, because you see what we're trying to do, and we want to share that love and give it back because it's Guam. We want to make sure we keep the familia and keep the hospitality of what Guam needs to be right now, especially at this time.
I've been telling people like this is a milestone. This is something that the current generation and the generations before will get to see, and we will lock this in history. And people need to see that before we move forward, especially during these times.
The dance community of Guam is rallying together in support of one of their own, Noel Santos Jr. Earlier in the year, Santos married the love of his life, Tanika, and recently became a first-time father to a beautiful baby girl and made the big move to Australia to establish a better life for his family. His goal was also to pursue his love of dance and continue to teach and inspire the dance community from Guam to Australia. However, at the beginning of the year, Santos was constantly feeling pain in his lower back and abdomen, which he ignored for as long as he could until he went to the hospital and did some tests and was quickly sent to the ER. At the age of 25, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. After his first treatment of chemotherapy, Santos was dealt another blow, as his results from a CT scan showed that the disease was
Noel is a character, that one.
Passionate, hardworking, a big brother figure, a vibe.
The first thing I think of is his smile.
Handsome, very handsome guy, charming guy.
Yeah, how was your rehearsal, guys? Well, I think my rehearsal was good.
Always found a way to make you laugh. He was so silly.
Random question. Yeah. What's your favorite food?
You.
Salt and pepper shrimp. Salt and...
Like, so many people know him and they look up to him. He's inspiring.
He was very driven. He was very positive.
I think especially when we were, kind of going through like tough times, whether it was be like long rehearsals, like he'd still find a way to bring a good energy to the room. Remind you that like, okay, as serious as we're trying to be right now, like, let's have fun.
He did so much for the community. It sucks because not everyone realizes that, especially that he's not here anymore, but the time that he was here, he definitely moved people's hearts. He made everyone happy wherever he went.
Whenever I talked to that guy, he was just always inspiring. He was that guy that can make you believe like you can do anything as long as you put your mind and your heart and your soul into it and you're invested.
He was so different, and despite all the challenges he faced when he was younger, especially with a story like his, you wouldn't think like someone could rise like that and become a dancer.
At birth, Noel was diagnosed with clubfoot, a condition in which the foot is deformed or twisted out of shape. At only a week old, both of Noel's feet had to be placed in a cast. It wasn't until a year later when he was sent to the Crippled Children's Hospital in Hawaii, where they performed surgery on both feet. The procedure was successful, and Noel was finally blessed with the ability to walk. Now he is using his feet and his moves to pursue a career in dance. In fact, he says he plans on becoming an international choreographer one day.
I wear the Guam symbol because I am Chamorro and I would love to represent my island. Also exposing the talent here on Guam, basically to put Guam on the map.
He proved that you can push dance, and he was definitely born and made to move.
Noel says this dance video is just the first of many projects with Project Inspire, a young group of talent who are passionate about the arts.
The team and I went to California and we saw him and he was so happy. And again, he had that smile on his face. Life really is short, and to know how much more he could have done, it just seems like unfair. He inspired a lot of us. That's why sometimes I push so hard to create new experiences, to dream impossible, create beyond, because really at the end of the day, when I do that, even if I'm stressing out, even if I'm like on the brink of like a breakdown, like it really feels like our brothers who aren't here anymore are still here.
I wish that we could have talked more. I want to just tell him that I miss him and that he's still so missed dearly by everyone, and that he's loved, and that he's remembered, and that he's still here, living vicariously through us.
Thank you so much, Noel, for everything you've done for me, for the community. That's why I thank you for opening that door and to make me realize and see that there's definitely more to offer, and to understand what dance can be, how fun it can be. And I know you're here, so this is also for you.
There's not much I would like to say to Noel, because I feel like this concert says everything I need to say to Noel. So I hope he hears it.
So much. Let's cheers to this.
Yeah. Hey. Turn my vocals up a little bit more, please. Yeah. A little bit more. Yeah. I'm on a new level. 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 Brought me a new shovel. Put these in the dirt. Chain with the new bezel. I'ma put it work. Used to be sleeping on itchy beds. Bed bugs in the motel. Now you give me 20 in the hotel. On a Roman noodle diet. Told life wasn't so well. All my starting riots. Marsh pitting on your toenails. Uncle T doing so well. First class from a hotel. T-Ferg did 15. In the feds getting no mail. My daddy died and my cousin too. They ain't let him out of no cell. Provide jobs for my whole block. I could not slow down. I won't stop now. Motherfucker, this is my town. Take the block, make it hot now. 143rd with the drop down. Icy chain with the watch now. Bird piece full of rocks now. Squint when they watch now. Leveling up to the top now. I'm on a new level. 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 Bought me a new shovel. Put in the dirt. I'm on a new level. I might just put it right. I'm on a new level. 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 Bought me a new shovel. Put this in the dirt. Bought me some new belts. I might just put it right.
Mood. I jumped off my bed to get it started, yeah. Went straight to the bathroom to freshen up and start my morning, yeah. Looked at myself straight up in the mirror and said, you are gonna make today your bitch. Whether or not it's something or somebody try to test you to convince your mind to think different. I finna through all my clothes, through all my smiles, took all my days to work against me. You entertain, I lame you on different wavelengths. As long as I got love, long as I got fam, long as I got God and a strong mindset. Nothing can stop me, no. Cause I was made to move. No, I'm not here to lose. Cause I was made to move. I have my right to choose. And life brings me down, I get right back up. Cause there's so many reasons to keep holding on. So I hold on, 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 I hold on. Okay, everybody got a great mindset deep down, but not everybody strive for it. Yeah, everybody say that they want this, want that, but they don't wanna work hard for it. I believe that everybody and anybody can keep a positive mind just as long as they pay no mind to negativity trying to throw you off. If this life's a trip, then I'll travel, yo. If these hard times seem permanent, you need to learn to maneuver through the turbulence. Cause if you want to succeed, being positive is a big determinant of accomplishment. I play an optimist filled with confidence because it compliments and being dominant. And when a situation seems ominous, I keep calm and refuse to let it bother after me. You gotta keep it moving, just regrouping. Keep doing you, cause that's the only thing we're doing. Don't let anybody or anything ruin your groove. Cause everybody in this world's always made some moves. As long as I got love, long as I got fam, long as I got God and a strong mindset.
Nothing can stop me, no. Cause I was made to move. No, I'm not here to lose. Cause I was made to move. I have my rights to choose. Life brings me down, I get right back up. Cause there's so many reasons to keep holding on. So I hold on. Take your life for granted, that is so much more we're meant for. Take deep breaths, it will all make sense. There's so much more to live for. Life brings me down, I get right back up. Cause there's so many reasons to keep holding on. So I hold on, 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 I hold on. Cause I was made to move. No, I'm not here to lose. Cause I was made to move. I have my rights to choose. Life brings me down, I get right back up. Cause there's so many reasons to keep holding on. So I hold on, 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 I hold on. I was made to move. I'm not here to lose. I was made to move. I'm not here to lose.
Whether or not it's something or somebody trying to test you to convince your mind to think different.
I finna do all my clothes, do all my smiles, take all my days to work against me.